Hi, this is Eric with CookingVblog.com, and today I am making bread. I got half and half here. I'm going to do part white and part wheat, and I've got 2 cups of warm water. Should be around 100 to 110 degrees, somewhere in there. I've got this attachment for my Cuisinart, which you can see here. And I'm going to be adding the water into it, and then I'm going to add about 1.5 teaspoons of the yeast or so. Should be enough. And then I'm going to add two cups of white, and 2 cups of wheat to it. Let's just do a cup of wheat for now, and then we can add more if we need it. I'm also going to put some oil in it, some olive oil. So let's kind of drizzle it there. I would say that's probably about 3 tablespoons or so of olive oil. And I'm going to mix this together. You see it kind of coming together there in the mixer. Now we're going to add some salt to it, about 1 tablespoon of salt. And you just kind of touch it to see if it's too dry, or it probably just needs a little bit more water. So I'm just going to add a little bit more into here. You want it kind of sticky. You don't want it too dry. See, that's about right. So you want it kind of sticky like that. If you wanted to, you could add onions to this, like chopped up onions or herbs. Sometimes I'll add some herbs to it. Let me go find something. I'm going to go ahead and add a little oregano and basil to it, because I have a feeling that I'm going to be making some pizza out of this later on. So why not? I don't usually do that. I usually just make it plain. So if you want to keep it plain, that's great. This is essentially all you need. Water, yeast, flour, and a little bit of oil is optional. Usually when I'm making a pizza dough, I add a little bit of olive oil to it. Should just fall out just like that, and should just be relatively sticky. See, like this. It's kind of the way you want it. Add a little bit of oil to it if you need, or a little bit of flour to it. if you need. And the dough should be relatively warm when you touch it, so that will ensure that it rise well. And that's all there is to it. I should probably show you how to do that again. So you just pick it up like this, and you just kind of pull it as you turn it. So, and by doing so, you're just creating a smooth ball here. And don't really want it to do that too much, but if it does that, that's fine. And then we're ready to go, and then we'll just cover it, and this will rise for about an hour and a half to 2 hours until it doubles in size. So we'll see you in a couple hours. It's been roughly an hour and 20 minutes, so we have about 40 or so minutes left. So I'm going to go ahead and preheat the oven to I'm going to go ahead and preheat the oven to, okay, it's going to sound kind of hot, but I usually preheat it at about 500 degrees to get the stone really baking good. Which brings me to the stone. You can get these down at your specialty kitchen store, sometimes even like a Walmart or Fred Meyer's. We have Fred Meyer's here in Oregon, or something like that. What would be another one? Linen and Things. Some of those big box stores would have them. This one is a pretty good one, but it's not marked. The brand isn't marked on it. You never want to put these into a hot oven, so you always want to put them in just when you turn on the oven. Otherwise you could crack it, which I've done before. You also need like a pizza paddle like this one. These aren't too expensive. And really that's about it. Just get the oven brick hot for about 40 minutes, and I'll return then, and we'll start rolling out our dough. About maybe a little over 25 minutes to go. So I thought I'd just get started on the dough here. So as you can see, it's risen about double now, and when you put your finger down into it, it doesn't spring back. So that's how you know this is a fully risen loaf here. So I'm gonna turn this over and then divide it into thirds, and we'll start rolling it out. I'm gonna make pizza, but I'm not gonna put anything on it. I guess you could call this focaccia, which is like an Italian bread, and it's gonna have some rosemary and olive oil on top. And then later we can make pizzas out of that, so I can show you how we do that a little later tonight. But I'm just doing the bread today. I got a cookie sheet. I'm going to put this in the oven and get it really hot, because I'm going to be throwing some water on this to create some steam, so that will help our bread rise in the oven as well, so it'll come out a little nicer. So let's go over here, and I'm going to just punch this down with my hands, turn it over. See, it's a little dried out. So it got a little bit dried out, which is alright. So now we're gonna divide this into thirds. So just like so. Okay. Now we're just gonna take each of these, and we're gonna do the same thing. We're just gonna roll them up, gonna tuck them underneath, and create 3 more balls here. And I should mention, this might sound like a lot of work, but it's really not. You just need to set aside, a few hours, maybe doing something else in the meantime while you're waiting for your bread to rise, which is usually a couple hours. So this one feels a little bit heavy, so I'm just gonna give it to these two here. So now what I'm gonna do is put these two over here. I'm gonna get a little flour on my board here. Push it down with my fingers as flat as I can get it. And I'm going to actually be making more like rectangular rounds. And the reason why I'm doing that, so I'll show you, is later tonight I'm going to be putting it on this grill, and then I'm going to be melting the cheese with a little bit of tomato sauce and doing pizzas. So I want it to be like about this wide and by this long, something like that. So I'm just going to start rolling it out into that rectangular shape. Pull it a little bit. Just make it into that shape I want. I don't want to put too much flour on it. Keep it as wet as possible. And sometimes I feel like I have more control if I just use my hands versus these. So I'm doing it this way. And these are actually pretty thin. You want them really thin. So you just kind of keep rolling them out in that shape. And you can kind of see now it's roughly about the size I want it. Maybe a little bit wider. And so there's my first focaccia, I guess you could say. I'm just going to put that right there, and then I'm going to do another one. Let me get my I'm going to put it on this. This is just cornmeal. Just a little cornmeal on there, so it slides off into the oven. So I'm just going to put my first one down. Don't be afraid to just stretch it with your fingers like this. So just a little bit more flour and punch it down like so. Takes practice. I mean, you'll learn over time, but it's a lot of fun, and you have full control over the ingredients you're eating too. So when you go to the store and buy a pizza, you just really don't know what you're getting unless you go to a expensive pizzeria, I guess. And this is a whole lot better. It's cheaper as well. And so this one's done as well. So let's just put that one right here right now. And do one more. Again, you just punch it down. Kind of get into the shape you want it. So, just start rolling. And for these, we just want them in the general shape. We don't need to get too finicky about them because I'm going to roll them out a last time right before I put them on the pizza peel. So that's good for these two. Let's go ahead and slip this into the oven. Before I do that, I'm going to do a couple things. I'm going to kind of just put a few dashes in here so it doesn't bubble up. Then I'm going to just drizzle a little bit of olive oil on here, probably about a tablespoon, or a little more maybe. And then I'm going to take a little bit of rosemary and I'm going to sprinkle it on top. and it's ready to go. So let's bring it over here. Now before I put this into the oven, I'm going to, remember the cookie sheet I put in there? Well, I'm going to put some water on that cookie sheet so that it creates steam. But I have to be kind of quick about it because I don't want to lose the heat out of the oven. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the focaccia in there first, and then I'm going to pull the middle rack out, and then I'm going to put the water into the cookie sheet. So here goes. That goes in. This comes out. And then this goes in here. And slide it in. Close the door. And we're gonna wait for about 8 minutes, and it looks pretty good. And so this is actually perfect because it's still soft enough to where we could freeze it and then reheat it later for pizza. So let's go ahead and put another one in here. Again, a little bit of cornmeal. Stretch these out a little bit. A little bit of olive oil. If you wanted to, you could also put garlic on this and Parmesan. It's really good. And just have the pizza just like that. And then again, I'm going to slide this in and put the water into the cookie sheet. And again, we'll wait another 8 minutes. So I'm going to purposely underbake this one because I'm going to probably freeze this one. So this one I'm going to have today. Let's just do one more. And put some olive oil on it. And rosemary. And that's it. So again, we'll slide it in here. There's already water in there, so I'm just gonna leave it as is. And we'll see you later. And I'm gonna show you how to make like a tomato sauce, and then put the tomato sauce over these with some veggies for tonight. So have a good one, and hope this helps, and feel free to subscribe or leave me a message. Thanks. Bye.